every one of you. I trust that you are doing well. I just want to quickly, give you a quick update about what is really happening here with the market. And I believe that if you have watched yesterday's update, okay, if you have get into my YouTube channel, okay, if you look into the yesterday's update, what you see, all right, I did mention to you about the CME gap. And I did mention to you that this gap will be filled sooner, okay, or rather later, right? So you can see, all right, if I would play, I just want to play this recorded, okay? If we get back into CME, now you can see over here, right? This is something that I want you to look at it because this is important, all right? And for CME, we always use the candle, okay? Please take note. We use the candle, not the Heiken-Ashi. So if you look at this CME gap, all right, this is really interesting. Can you see that? This is really interesting, and I want you to watch this CME gap very carefully. Now this is on the daily time frame, and you can see that, okay, we have a gap here, right? We have a gap here, right? And I'm going to bring these things down all the way, right? You can see the gap here, and this has to touch somewhere here, and that is about 27,000, all right, 100, all right, 27,100. So I'm going to change this 27,100. All right, you can see that. All right, so let's just keep it over here. All right, so that simply means, right, if you look into this daily, right, as I mentioned to you, sooner or rather, okay, later or rather sooner, we will see this gap being filled up. All right, and also if you look into this candle for today, right, it's already actually weakening. All right, and when you see this kind of candle, you know there is a sell pressure, okay, coming down, and we could expect market to come down and fill this gap. All right, so you can see, all right, exactly as I mentioned, okay, yesterday, we are looking at the gap being filled. So if I bring you back into the CME gap, okay, and we're going to just change this to the candle. All right, so you can see, right now, this is really interesting, right? You can see how perfectly, we actually predicted that this gap is going to be filled. So you saw that I've actually placed 27,100 over there, and we saw that the market actually went down up to about 26,935. So you see how this gap, okay, play out perfectly and filled up, okay, this whole gap. Okay, now this candle is a strong candle coming down, okay, coming down. So what do I expect next? Okay, if I get back into Bitcoin chart over here, right, we're going to get back into Heiken-Ashi. All right, now I'm going to go back and show you a few important things here, okay, what I do expect market to play out. Okay, now the next thing that I'm expecting market to play out, we could probably, right, because of the sentiment of the market at this moment, we could actually see Bitcoin probably, okay, will be breaking that 25,000. And my next target, okay, I'm going to put this target here, 24,800. All right, 24,800. Now, there are few news that came out today that actually are pushing the price of Bitcoin lower. Everybody thought that after the US debt ceiling issues, right, Bitcoin price is going to go up, and many people are so bullish, and they actually went in. So that's why I told you, right, be very careful with the FOMOs. This FOMOs has no fundamentals. The FOMOs are basically pushing the price up because they think that Bitcoin price is going to go up. Now, if you look into the news that came out today, right, Bitcoin resides to 27 as Federal Reserve. Okay, Federal Reserve are going to continuously probably to actually raise the rate hikes, and this is not a good news. Okay, this is not a good news for the market at all, and this is just showing that that the Federal Reserve is still very hawkish, and if they would continue to raise the hike the rate, and this is going to affect the price of Bitcoin even further. Now, the other thing I want you also to be very careful is that the rate hike has to do with strengthening of the dollar itself. So if we get back into the trading view, and if you go back into the DXY, now look at DXY. DXY has been really pushing up, all right, and DXY is currently at about 104. Now, if Federal Reserve continue to push the rate, okay, they continue to push the rate, I'm expecting for for the DXY to go even further up. All right, so the next point we are looking at probably at about 113. Can you see that? That was the highest ever DXY got in. Now, if DXY further move up, all right, then we're going to see a massive sell or massive probably a blood in the street. Okay, a bloody moment for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin can really come down, hitting that 25, and even can go even further down. All right, so the next point we are looking at, okay, in terms of DXY, so you can see here we have the next point over here somewhere 105, and if it breaks this, then we're going to see Bitcoin price coming down. So my target, okay, next target I'm looking at is around 24,800. And if 24,800 doesn't stand, okay, then we're going to even go further down. Now I have this ascending line over here, and anytime that ascending line crosses with this horizontal line, that is quite a strong significant move that we're going to see. Okay, market is going to basically when comes to this two crossing channel line itself. All right, so just take note of this information, but most importantly, all right, I just want to prove to you that if you are following JD100X and you are learning how to read the Hikikoshi and also understanding about the gap, the CME gap, you can definitely see that all this gap is being filled up. So I want you to be very attentive and understand that. Okay, so in this manner, what is happening is that you are able to decipher the market, because you see that we know about the gap, and because we know about the gap, we are prepared, and we can basically anticipate that the market is going to come down. All right, so this is something important, and I think by mastering all this technique, all these insights, and all this wisdom, you will be able to do well as you begin to trade. So I trust that. All right, I trust that this kind of insight will really help you to become more and more competent. So that's the reason why it is important, okay, for you to be able to understand how to identify the CME gap. That is basically every Monday, right? When the CME market opens, you can always see the gap. And the other thing is that also you must understand the correlation of DXY. DXY is basically dollar currency index, and at this moment, with the war of de-dollarization, with everything that is taking place, US is not going to give up on the towards strengthening of the dollar. Now with the strengthening of the DXY, this is going to put a lot of the country's currency weakening. All right, it's going to actually cause a lot of massive inflation of the currency around the world. It is already affecting Malaysia, it's already affecting a lot of different countries, and this is going to put a lot of countries into trouble. All right, and also a lot of institutions, a lot of banks, a lot of different institutions, a lot of the big corporates are going to be in trouble, because as DXY goes up, the value, right, the value is going to come down, and also there's going to be massive inflation taking place. So we're going to see more and more of our currency value coming down, and this is going to put a lot of the people into trouble. CPI data can become really bad. So a lot of implication is going to take place when the Federal Reserve continue to raise the hikes. Okay, so now this is something that is very important for you to keep in mind. Now, the other thing is that strong regulatory is coming on board, and because of this massive regulatory, this is going to be a massive hurdle for the cryptocurrency. Okay, and I just got a news, okay, that a lot of these cryptocurrency influencer in the YouTube, and if they are promoting any kind of tokens or coins, all right, they're going to be in trouble. Okay, I think the SEC is going to go after them. So a lot of this is going to create a lot of trouble. Okay, a lot of massive challenges that is coming a lot because of this regulatory aspects of it. Now, until regulatory is clear, I don't see any kind of bullish sentiment at this moment. Okay, so this is basically my take on. All right, now the other thing is that if we get back quickly, okay, into our BitMax, okay, you can already see, okay, on the daily time frame, we are already seeing a massive rate over here. All right, and then on the 6 hour, you can see that today we have been seeing a massive sell-off. This is mainly because of the Federal Reserve news that they're going to continue to raise the interest, and also on the 1 hour, right, you can see that we already have a massive 1 hour drop over here. Bitcoin has already hit the lowest price, okay, 26,000 700, okay, around there. And I believe that probably this market is going to go even further down. All right, with all this news that are taking place, the sentiments and so on, we're going to see a lot more movement on the downside. Okay, so just be very, very cautious if you are trading. As I mentioned to you, only trade what you see. All right, as long as you trade what you see, you will be basically in the best position to generate as much profit as you could. All right, so with that, I hope, okay, this insight is helpful. God bless each and every one of you. We will catch up once again.